Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Scott Beebe, My Business on Purpose, where we exist. I woke up this morning, Monday morning, to help liberate small business owners from the chaos of working in their business. And already this morning, we've had the privilege of being able to work with some small business owners. And hiring, the issue of hiring has come up really all morning. On a Monday morning, man, isn't that a way to get your Monday morning started off? But it's come up in a lot of conversations that I've already had this morning. And I thought, well, what the heck? Let's do a kind of a flash lunch and learn on a Monday for anybody who's wanting to know a step-by-step approach to learn how to hire with purpose, with intentionality, and so that there's an absolute right fit. And my goodness, wouldn't you know, Michelle Williams jumps on, the hiring guru. So check me on this, Michelle. I think it'll be good, and we're going to fly right through this. I thought I'd actually share a tool that we've put together to help. It's 7 steps to anxiety-free hiring for small business owners. So let me walk you through this. And I'll be flipping the camera back and forth so you can actually see what I'm talking about. The first thing that we want to do is we want to mind the gap. That old British phrase when you're getting on the tube in London, mind the gap. What the world does that mean? Hey, listen, you don't need to hire somebody. You don't need to bring somebody on the team, either full-time or 1099, unless they are a fit for your business. I know it sounds really obvious, but hear what I'm about to say. There has to be an existing gap in your business that you need a role to fill. Notice what I did not say. I didn't say just go hire a person, all right? I said find a gap in the business and then define a role, not a person, but a role to go fill that gap. And then once you've got those two things bridged, then you can go find a person. Way too often what we do is we meet a person, go, oh my goodness, you'd be a great fit for this. And then we wedge them into the organization, and it's what causes disruption and explosion and all of these other things. So find a gap first. Once you've got the gap, then draft a role. I've already drafted, I think, 3 roles this morning for 2 different businesses. And so once you find that gap, then you can draft the role. Once you draft the role, then you can go find the person. We call it person agnostic. It's not a religious term. It's just let's be person agnostic. Let's fill role first, and then we'll go in with the person second to figure that out. So number 1, find a gap in the business. Number 2, build a real job role. Right there, build a real job role. What the heck do I mean by that? Well, listen, it is so easy now to go up on Google and say, well, I need an office manager. So I'll Google office manager job role, or I see Nick Kennicott on here, associate pastor job role, or whatever. And you can go find all these things. The thing is, they're a nice guideline, but they're not a role that fits what you need, all right? Because just because I say that that company or that organization needs an office manager and this organization needs an office manager doesn't mean they need the 2 same things. It's the same reason we get so frustrated when we say, why can't they just do this? It's common sense. Well, what's common to you is not common to me. And so you and I may drive a car, but we don't drive it the same way. So we need to make sure that we build a real job role and a job role that's a fit both with your vision and also with your culture. Thing, after we mind the gap and build a job role, state your budget. Please don't hire people. Don't bring people on the team unless you've got a defined budget. And the bottom line that they're going to be able to add value to. We shouldn't be adding roles unless those roles add value to the bottom line of the business or free you up as a business owner to do more things that allow you to drive the business on the back end. That is crucially important. So go ahead and identify what's the budget for this role. What's this role going to be worth ultimately to the bottom line of the business? All right, so we're already to number 3. So mind the gap, build a real job role, set your budget. Number 4, begin attracting the right talent. Now, this may be the most challenging one of what we talk about. Begin attracting the right talent. So there's a couple things I want to points I want to make about this. Number 1, start with the role and not the title. When you go tell people, we've got an office manager position come open, when I hear that, then I run my filter of what an office manager is through what you just asked me for, a salesperson. Hey, we need a salesperson. Well, that means that I get to look from my vantage point of what I think a salesperson should be, and I impose that on you. It's just human nature. So let's stop going with titles, and instead let's start going with roles. So instead of saying, hey, I need a salesperson, you go out to your closest networks and say, I'm looking for somebody who is incredibly persuasive, who doesn't mind knocking on doors and being forward and aggressive with the product that we're selling. Well, are you looking for a salesperson? Yeah, but you've articulated exactly what you want that person to be. And so make sure you start with the role and not with the details. The second is leverage your personal and business networks. Am I saying that throwing a roll up on Indeed or Craigslist or one of those things is a bad idea? Kind of. All right, so let me explain. It's not always a bad idea, but it's just like we live here on the coast off of South Carolina, and they have these shrimp boats. The shrimp boats come and they drop these big outriggers down, and they drop their nets. Well, when they drop their nets, they catch a bunch of shrimp, and they catch a bunch of other stuff they don't want, and they have to take time going through those fish and that trash fish and all that and throwing it out. When you broadcast big nets for a job opening, you not only potentially get qualified candidates, but you also get a lot of unqualified candidates. So here's what I would rather do. Go to your personal networks, because here's a philosophy we live by. Rock stars swim in the same pools as other rock stars. So if you want to find a great salesperson, then go find a salesperson you already know who's really good at it and ask them, I need somebody just like you. Can you introduce me to somebody? Or if you're a business owner, go to one of your business owner friends and say, hey, do you have a great accounting person, a great bookkeeper? Yeah, we do. Hey, do you mind if I talk to him? I promise not to hire him away from you, but can I talk to him, because I want to see if they know somebody who's just like them. Because rock stars swim with rock stars. So if you want a great salesperson, go find a great salesperson and ask them who they know. If you want a great office manager, go find a great office manager or somebody who has those capabilities and ask them who they know. So let's spend less time dropping the big nets to try and catch all sorts of people, and let's start shooting with a rifle instead of a shotgun. All right, so leverage your personal and business network and stay laser focused. The fifth thing you want to do after you've gone after those networks is do your homework. What do I mean by that? Number one, you have your phone discussion. Number two, hands down, no questions asked, you profile, profile, profile. We are to the point where we do not offer hiring advice unless the business owner or hiring manager has profiled their candidate. We don't even care if they use the DISC, Colby, it doesn't matter. They have to have profiled their candidate, or else we will not offer advice or insight. And the reason is because 95% of the time, if you hire against the DISC or against the Colby or against the Myers-Briggs, it is going to bite you in the rear end. Almost 100% of the time. We've seen it over and over and over again. We've done, I think, about 350 DISC profiles in the last 2 years. So that's one every other day almost. And I can tell you with great experience that if you hire against those profiles, it's going to hurt you in the long run. So don't do it. You've got to profile on this stuff when you start to lay this out. All right. So I mentioned, have that phone discussion. Go ahead and give them the cheat sheet. Give them the job role, the answers to the test, and see what they do when they regurgitate it back to you. But that's why you've got to have that DISC profile to back it up. And then after that, people ask me all the time, Scott, do we do reference checks? Heck yes, do a reference check. No doubt if you want to do a reference check. That's them giving you free insight into who their personality is. Yeah, 90% of the time they're going to be like, oh, he's great, he's awesome, you got to hire him. But there may be that one. And just think, if you got one, that is going to save you loads and loads of headaches. So make sure that you do reference checks. We also recommend taking a test drive. What do I mean by that? Well, we just actually did this morning with a client. They're hiring somebody for a role. And so what we said is, hey, take one little item within that role, pay them to complete that item. Pay them $20, $50, $100, whatever it is, to complete that one item. Not only do you get to see what their turnaround looks like, you get to see what their quality looks like, and you get to see what their communication looks like. So send them on a test drive before you hire them. Now, I hear it all the time, Scott, we can't do that in our business. I want to challenge you, because I think you can. I think there's a lot of unique ways that you can send people on a test drive to be able to do what it is that you want to potentially hire them to do. So after you've gone through all that, you've taken a test drive, you've done the phone screen, you've done the profiling, you've done the reference checks. Guys, at this point, guess how much pressure is on the live interview? Not much, because you've already done due diligence. And so your live interview right here, your final interview and decision, really becomes more of a formality and a final little check than all the other stuff. Now, that seventh step, this is where a lot of people go south, and this is where most hires end up going bad, is you've got to become the chief training officer of that hire that you just made, okay? See that guy right there? Tom Crosby, CEO of Pal's Sudden Service. Pal's Sudden Service is a tiny little hot dog, hamburger, and Shake Shack in East Tennessee and Western Virginia. In 2001, Pal's Sudden Service won the coveted U.S. Department of Commerce Malcolm Baldrige Award for quality. It's not only the only fast food service to ever win the award, it is the only food service business to ever win the award. Man, these folks are like FedEx, Ritz-Carlton, Cadillac, those are the ones who win these awards. And you got this little Shake Shack, Eastern Tennessee, it won the award. How did they do it? It's because Tom Crosby says we train, 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 and train. It takes about 150 hours of training before they'll allow one teenager to sell a hot dog, a hamburger, or a shake. And then every single month they're there, they take 2 to 3 pop quizzes throughout the month just to make sure they're refined and trained on what's going on. Once you make that hire, don't stop there. It's not just about onboarding well, it's about training well. And what's the best training menu you've got? Your job role. When you create a job role, you actually create 3 things in one. Number 1 is your boundary of play. It tells you this is where I want you to play. Number 2 is your performance evaluation sheet. Don't make another one. Just use your job role for that. And number 3, it is your menu for training. If you want to know what to train your office manager on, look back at their job role. If you want to know what to train your administrative person on, look back at their job role. It is a treasure trove of training opportunities for those people. So there you go. 7 steps. You want to mind the gap. Make sure you've got a real gap in your business before you hire. You want to build a real job role. Not one of these things off Google or whatever. It's got to fit your business and fit your culture. Number 3, you need to state your budget. Number 4, start attracting through those innovative routes. Start with the people you know. Talk to them about the role, not the title. Disc profile them. Incentivize those people who help you and stay laser focused on it. Once you've done that, then do your homework. Go back, do those reference checks, your phone discussion, your disc profiles. See where they're at. Have them take a test drive. And then finally, make that final decision and then move straight towards training. All right, that's it. Quick lunch and learn for you. If you want 7 steps on hiring with purpose and intentionality, and quite frankly, an anxiety-free hiring process, just follow those 7 steps. It's not easy. It'll take you a long time, but I promise you it's worth it, because if you don't do it right, the cost of the business is on average about $15,000 to $25,000 in turnover costs for somebody who makes less than $50,000 a year in salary. If they make more than that, then you can begin to multiply that number. So you don't want to get this wrong, and there's ways you can do it. Hey, if you need help, let us know. We're here to help liberate you from the chaos of working in your business. Head on over to mybusinessonpurpose.com. We've got other training videos there. We've got the Business on Purpose podcast with episodes there. We'd love to be able to help you. We've also got some mastermind groups kicking up here in the next few weeks. So if you're interested in that, some accountability, let us know around there as well. Hey, it's Monday, about 1:15 Eastern time. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday, and I hope you live out your business on purpose.